Good morning, children. Now we are going to start the second part of Hearts and Hand of O. Henry. Characters of Hearts and Hand. We have already discussed, children. There is Miss Fairchild, who is an attractive young woman on train. Mr. Easton, real criminal, or the main character, Mr. Marshall, and passengers, the two passengers. Yes, children. Now this is the first page, or page number 69, which I have already explained to you with the means of audio. But still a few lines I'm going to tell you that at Denver there was an incoming of passengers or arrival of passengers into the coaches, and the first passenger who was already seated there, that was Miss Fairchild. Then later two newcomers they came. Who are the newcomers? Both Mr. Easton and the other person, the glum-faced man. They came there, they took their seat facing Miss Fairchild. Then Miss Fairchild recognized Mr. Easton, but Mr. Easton did not recognize her because he felt humiliated that time as he was handcuffed. But Miss Fairchild, till the time she did not notice those handcuff or the shining bracelet in Mr. Easton's hand, and she spoke in a very gentle voice full of sweetness. She spoke, and she asked Mr. Easton to introduce himself. Okay, and she complained even that, don't you ever recognize old friends? Then the younger man roused himself sharply. It means to say that he got very excited, and then with a slight embarrassment he forwarded his hand to shook hands with Miss Fairchild. Then he clasped her fingers with his left hand. Then he said that my right hand is engaged in handcuffs. Mr. Easton now showed his hand. He slightly rose his right hand up, and that right hand was bound at the wrist with shining bracelet to the left one of his companion. Both were handcuffed together. The glad look in the girl's eyes slowly changed to a bewilderment. Why? Because now she was completely confused. The glow faded from her cheeks. Now, the happiness which she had while meeting Mr. Easton, that was not there. Her lips parted in a vague, relaxing distress. And now her lips, they parted in a vague, means there was a kind of a sound that what is this? Okay, so generally we also make such sounds like, oh, what is this, isn't it? So in the same manner, now there was distress. Easton with a little laugh, as if amused. So Easton, he had a little laugh, a very slight smile he had in his face, was about to speak again when the other forestalled him. So forestalled, it means to say that before Mr. Easton could speak something, glum-faced man stopped him. The glum-faced man had been watching the girl's countenance, the facial expressions. Okay, so glum-faced man already noticed girl's facial expressions. That's why he stopped Mr. Easton. Then he jumped into that conversation. You'll excuse me for speaking, miss, but I see you're acquainted with the marshal here. And then further, he used the word marshal, means you know Mr. Easton, who is marshal. And if you'll ask him to speak a word for me, when we get to the pen, he will do it. And it'll make things easier for me there. Then further, he asked Miss Fairchild, means he is making Miss Fairchild comfortable, because now he put all the blame on himself, that I am culprit and Mr. Easton is marshal, and he is taking me to prison. He is taking me to Leavenworth prison, and it's 7 years of counterfeiting. Counterfeiting, it means to say that uh, to deceive someone. So here, that glum-faced man said that Mr. Easton is taking me to the prison for 7 years. Oh, said the girl with a deep breath and returning color. Now, when glum-faced man, he introduced Mr. Easton in such manner, that time Miss Fairchild, she relaxed, she calmed herself. I had to do something. Money has a way of taking wings unto itself, and you know it takes money to keep step with our crowd in Washington. Further, Mr. Easton explained that I came to Washington only to earn money, because without money we cannot survive. I saw this opening in the West, and well, a marshalship isn't quite as high a position of that of ambassador. But further, here he differentiated the job of marshalship and of a ambassador. He said that marshalship isn't quite as high as the post of a ambassador. The ambassador, said the girl warmly, doesn't call any more. Then the girl said that ambassador, he need not ever have done so. You ought to know that. Then the girl said that you need not to do it. And so now you are one of these dashing Western heroes, because you are one of the dashing heroes. Why she called him dashing hero? Because further she explained that you ride, shoot, and go into all kinds of danger. Okay, you ride means you run behind thieves or the culprits, you shoot them. Okay, you face all the dangers. That's different from all Washington life, and it is completely different job. You have been missed from the old crowd, but you are missing from the old crowd now. Old crowd, it means to say the common job with other people are doing. The girl's eyes, fascinated, went back, widening a little to rest upon the glittering handcuffs. But again, after completing the conversation, again the girl's eyes fascinated. Again, there was a kind of a terror in her eyes, widening a little. And she widened, her eyes got widened when again she noticed handcuffs in Mr. Easton's hand. So, in this manner, children, Miss Fairchild, she first tried to have a good conversation, healthy conversation with Mr. Easton, but when she noticed those handcuffs in his hand, she was little bit horrified. But glum-faced man used word marshal for Mr. Easton, or he introduced Mr. Easton as a marshal. After that, Miss Fairchild was little bit relaxed, and then she had conversation again with Mr. Easton. Then Mr. Easton, he tried to defend himself that the job of a marshalship is not good at all. Ambassador's job is much better than this. But Miss Fairchild defended that no, marshalship's job is a bit different. It's a good job because even she used the word hero for him. Okay, that you are one of the Western heroes. So according to Miss Fairchild, marshalship's job is good. For this video, this much only, children. Thank you.